hope you guys already know this, but when you go on a first date, you know that, like, your only job as a woman is to put on makeup, put on a cute outfit, show up with a smile on your face. That one's optional. I'm just kidding. Of course, show up with a good attitude, but those are really your only 3 tasks. That's your only job. Like, meaning your job is not to make the reservation, okay? Your job is not to worry about how you're going to get there. So either he picks you up, if you're not comfortable with that, he gets you an Uber, and if you're not comfortable with that, or if that's not something that he's even like floating the idea of, is buying you an Uber, that's fine, but he at the very least needs to tell you like what time to call the Uber so that you are there at the same time as him or after him. You don't want to be there before him. It's also not your job to pay for the date. I'm not going to argue anyone on this one. Like, I'm blocking you if you try to argue with me on that one. That's insane. I really think that one of the keys to a good first date is both parties knowing their role. And when both parties know their role and their job and do their job well, everyone's happy.
Man alive. Both parties have to know their role. Women, you show up to the date and you just look cute. Guys, you do everything else. Again, did you see what she said? Her job is to look good and to smile, right? Which she does have a Freudian slip and say, oh, and the smile is optional, right? Oh, no, I mean, like, you should smile. Honey, you know, sometimes you show up, you take one look at him, you don't like the way he looks, and suddenly, you're in a mood, right? We all know it, right? You guys, you've seen it. I've been on double dates in my life where I've seen it and I'm like, oh, she's in a mood already. We didn't even sit down yet. Somebody's twisted, right? It happens. Women get twisted like that. The guy has to set the reservation. Guys, listen, let me be controversial for a second. You don't need to get her to the date on the first date. This is not, unless this is someone that you know really well. Let's say it's someone that you have been friends with for a long time. And now you decide to transition to dating. That usually doesn't work, by the way. Caveat. But let's say in this case it's going well or whatever, and you know her and you decide you want to pick her up, you want to drive or whatever, that's different. If this is a girl that you met on an app, you don't know jack lick about her, you don't need to get her to the date. Okay, let's just be clear about that. First of all, if you offer to go pick her up, she's probably going to be like, ooh, he's creepy, right? We know how they act. You also don't need to pay for the Uber to get her to date 1 for someone that you barely know. You can make that decision if you want to. You also don't need to tell her what time. You set a time where let's get to the place, wherever it is, say the coffee shop, whatever, at this time. You don't have to be like, oh yeah, honey, you got to get the Uber at this time because you got to get there first. Honey, just calm down, all right? With the power struggle from the get-go. Always got to be, women always want to have the power, right? Oh, I got to get to the restaurant second, so he's sitting and waiting for me, blah, yap. These are female games. Guys don't have time for this crap. Also, I love how she's like, you don't have to pay for the date. You don't have to pay for the date. Okay, fine. I'm all about, guys, listen, if you are silly enough to do on date 1, the lavish dinner and all that stuff, and you dug yourself into a hole, you got to pay for it, right? I am all about men being gentlemanly when it's deserved, okay? But what's interesting to me about women here, and she articulates this in a way that, I have to grab it. I thought you wanted to be equal, honey. I thought you wanted to be equal. You want to be equal except when the bill comes, right? You want to be equal except when all of these conditions, right? You want to be equal except when you want to be the lady and you want him to like pay for everything and protect the house and do X, Y, and Z and all this stuff. Do you want to be equal or not? Selective equality. Also, for years, you heard women saying, I can pay for my half. I have money. I don't need your money. I can pull out my own chair. I can open my own door. Right? So now guys don't know what's what. They don't know. They're like, oh, I'm getting to the restaurant. Am I supposed to offer to pay? Or is now that going to be viewed as I'm violating her independence in some way? Or guys, forget everything you were told. Do what feels right to you. And if she doesn't like it, too bad, right? If it feels right to you to say, you know what, we're here. And it should feel right to you, by the way, if you dig yourself into the hole of doing that first date, spending money, you got to pay the bill. You are the guy, right? I know that feminism twisted you and now you're like, well, screw you. I don't want to be a gentleman for you, blah, 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 blah. But at the end of the day, you want to have your dignity intact. So what do? A, first date, don't spend the money. B, if you decide that she's worth it, it's a friend of a friend, whatever, and you're going to take her out to a nice dinner, then you pay for that dinner. Now, if halfway through the dinner, she's acting like a tool and ungrateful and nasty and doing all that stuff, then you say, honey, you know what? I brought you here. I'm going to take care of this dinner, but I'm really done. Put the money down and go. Okay. That's it. Really. Okay. That's what I would do as a man. And I know it's like, well, why do I have to pay for a dinner if she's being a tool? Well, pay for yours and leave. Honestly, if somebody's treating you like garbage, I feel like it ends there, right? Your responsibility to them ends there. But I just want you to understand that women, view their responsibility as looking good, which is why people like Andrew Wilson say that there's a growing segment of the female population that says to guys, what do you bring to the table? But they think they are the table. This I bring. I'm pretty and I got my nails done this week. Honey, what else you got?